Welcome to thestockmatter.com. I'm Brian Johnson, and the markets didn't even wait a day to get going. Right from the very opening bell, the markets were on their way to the upside. We saw a gap to start the day and even a little bit more of a bleed upwards after the initial start of today's trading. So I really thought maybe it would wait and things would kind of wander back, this first day, and we'd see this type of move coming into Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. It started early. So we broke this upper level that we had been watching, this 11,600 11,625. We really kind of did it right at the open. So very, very difficult if you wanted to trade this thing long to make a decision on it today. As you see, we did move up. By the end of the day, we did pull back. But as I move to the daily, I want to show you that nothing at all is broken here from the bull side. Still a huge push up. So going back to the 60-minute chart, yes, we did see it kind of roll over. But look, bigger picture, this is just a pullback. If you're an Elliottian, I don't know how much more clean this can get than a 1, 2, 3 look to it. This could be 4 with a 5 up, could be 4 of 3, finish 3 somewhere up in here. Point being, I think there could definitely be more follow through with this move into the next couple days now that we've got a direction to start the week. So, anybody that might have jumped in this morning on the Dow, I don't know if he did all that well. We can take a really quick look here and see from the diamonds. This will show us the actual gap and show you that on the Dow itself, it came pretty much back to where it opened the day. So maybe you jumped in. Once again, I'm very cautious to the upside. This was a huge move to the upside, but unless you were playing this thing long in the futures last night or had held long over the weekend, it was very, very difficult trading, and you maybe didn't even make anything on this by the time this was all said and done. Point being, nothing is yet broken from the bull side. So I have to remain neutral to bullish. Why? Because up, consolidate, up, consolidate, up, consolidate, and up yet again. Now, will we consolidate? Who knows? We'll wait for the next 2 days to give us a little bit more of an idea in the direction. But as you can see from the daily, this is a strong move upwards right here, coming back into these upper levels here. Hit that 11,700 area, kind of stopped, kind of what we expected to see once we reach some of these overhead levels. I'm about every 100 points now, 11.6, 11.7, 11.8 or so. I'm watching those levels very carefully on the Dow. But this bleed upwards has continued its work just as it has in the past. See this here? Remember, we waited and waited and waited and finally got this pullback, which ended up being not really all that much in the bigger scheme. And now we're doing the same thing, bleeding our way upwards all through December, now to see a little pop to start January. Let's see if we get confirmation tomorrow, though. I'm interested to see if this thing will hold. We got our break over the 2240 area. The NASDAQ starting the day where? Right at this 2240 area, so go figure. If you can't beat it, gap it. Precisely what we saw today. Move up straight to the 22.7-ish area before it saw a little bit of a move down as the rest of the markets did. But this is just a pullback at this point. Nothing at all broken from the bull side. Daily showing the same thing with a little gap up here holding beautifully to the 20-day. Look at that. It's been perfect support right up in this area. Move sideways. As I instructed you, this is just nothing but a high base, and as long as it stays up here, the bulls have control. Sure enough, they showed it today, wasting no time breaking into the new year. NASDAQ weekly also starting with a gap up, so it'll be interesting to see where this closes, but as we've seen, this just was the start of a pullback. I was maybe even expecting one more little, maybe another doji candle down this direction for the week, but going to start bullish here, and you can see the move continues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe this is 1, 2, and we haven't finished 3 yet. A lot of ways to count this from an Elliottian standpoint. Really overall, just nothing broken from the bull side. Bull still in control here. SPX 60 minute doing the same thing. I'm going to flip over really quick and show you the SPY. And you can see that it did. It wasn't quite as weak as the Dow, but it gapped about a 10-point move to start the day. got up to about, I think it was 17, 18 points, and then back down to finish about 14 points up for the day. So not quite as weak as what we saw in the Dow itself, but point being, very hard to trade these when you get a big gap like this. This gap, however, is very indicative of a three wave, so I'm having a hard time not seeing it as such, which means we may wander around a little bit sideways here tomorrow or something. I still have to believe that maybe there's one more little move to the upside coming yet. When once we clear this area, that would be maybe your next opportunity for that entry. Going back to the SPX 60-minute, you can see the big candle leading us up before the little pullback in the afternoon. Once again, not meaning anything, nothing broken at all from the bull side. All of these charts now looking very, very similar to one another, with this first day looking very strong on a 1% move up for the day. SPX weekly, same type of a thing, still continuing its move to the upside. VIX daily showing us what? A drop. We're back down again. So, like I said, some of this positioning coming in at the end of the year, I do believe that's all that was. Just nothing but jockeying within the options market. It did affect the VIX, but it wasn't any indicator at all in the bigger scheme of things. As we look at the weekly, you can see that for the time being, we are still above this blue line, and we are still holding above it. So, if you want to hang your hat on something from a bear move, this would be it. But overall, not really anything to really look at here. Market's up, VIX back down, and that's what we've seen time and time again. VIX spikes up, market goes nowhere. After a couple days, VIX moves down, market moves up. It's been lather, rinse, repeat within the VIX for quite a while now. Until we start breaking these overhead areas, really no reason to think that there's any kind of panic at all coming into the markets from a trader standpoint. Apple on a huge move up, as we talked about, waiting for this thing to break one way or the other. Once we got that break above like 325, 326, that was a perfect entry we got this morning actually, and it was straight up ever since. This is just a high base at this point, so still looking at more bullishness within Apple. This has been one we've had to sit around and wait for, but this was a beautiful move. Holding on to that, once again, 20-day moving average. Looking for breaks below these areas. They never came. We never got them. That wasn't. That was an area that I've been watching. But any move to the upside was a perfect entry from the beginning of the day this morning. Really, it was. Anything up over 325, 326. That was our entry. I've been preaching about that for a long time. Finally, we break the consolidation. Makes sense. Move up, consolidate, move up, and this consolidation, as I said, as long as it remained above this 320-ish area, was all bullish to me. Got it today. Huge move. $7 on Apple. 2%. Hope you've been watching and playing along. Now, giving us an upward target of, well, I'm going to look right here to this 340-ish area. It seems to be a very logical place to take this thing, so I'd be watching this very closely if you're in this and holding overnight. Let's, at this point, it's anybody's guess where it's going to stop. Just based on pure technical analysis, I think we're just sitting in a high base at the time being, which means I do believe, as with the rest of the markets, that there's just at least another push to the upside. You can see this thing bleeding its way upwards. Apple's so strong right now. FAS 60-minute gapped up and over all of this area we had been watching. That is very strong. Very strong indeed. So, will it hold? Looking for confirmation. Need a couple of days. Like to see it come back and retest this and maybe hold this overhead area. But the banks still looking very, very good in the short term. Just what we would have expected, really. We're up above this area. We've been holding above it for quite a while. It was just a matter of time before the bulls came right back in. We were cautious to wait and look to see if we might break below this area, but no such thing. Got the nice break up this morning. If you guys were playing along, you might have been able to sneak, 30, 40 cents out of this. There's no way you're going to catch all of this move, and obviously, unless you were long coming into today, which was, manna from heaven when you woke up this morning. But overall, a move of about, 40 cents or so by the time it was all said and done that you could have maybe caught if you played it from the very beginning, which means that's right, FAZ continuing to fall. For those of you trying to call the top or trying to call the bottom, you guys are in a world of pain. Stop doing that. Okay? In this new year, invest some money in the mentoring, get yourself an education, and apply it to the markets to make the money you deserve to be making. This is ridiculous. We've been talking about this for a while. I was not interested in this unless we got back over 10, 10.50, 11. this is why. This is very, very bearish down here. So for those of you trying to call a bottom, our move was below 930, which of course happened on the gap, and look where it gapped, even right below the lines we were talking about. So it's very, very weak here in the FAZ for the time being. On a daily, you can see still wanting to reach down and potentially, where's my target? Well, yeah, it's going to be this lower blue line now. Still watching for maybe a potential touch of that. Will it make it? I don't know. It's very, very extended. Once again, we're, I think, finishing up some sort of a wave, whether it's a wave 3 or a wave 5. I don't really care. Point being, it can happen at any time. We can reverse tomorrow and go the opposite direction. But until I see some more strength in the FAZ or weakness in the FAS, I'm just going to continue to be neutral to bearish on the FAZ and neutral to bullish on the FAS because that's what the charts are telling me. I don't care what my bias is. It doesn't pay me. The market pays me, so I have to follow what the charts are telling me. Brand new year, I'm going to start talking about it again. If you don't know how to use this information on the chart to your advantage, this is a completely foreign language. But if you understand the foreign language, it can become an incredibly easy book to read if you just know what you're doing. Highly recommend you put some funds aside, get the education that you need, and use that education to then make the money you deserve to be making in the markets as opposed to living through some of this I'm trying to call a bottom and I'm getting myself killed down here type movement. So call me, write me, whatever. Let's get going on this now that the new year has hit. And I will talk to you again, as always, tomorrow.